Dennis Taylor and Lawrence Dallaglio line up for a question of sport in half an hour here on BBC One after we spice up Friday night with The One Show.
Welcome to The One Show with Adrian Chance.
And Christine Blakely, and our next guest is so successful, it's just scary.
I will tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Out of the world, every boy, every girl. Swing it, shake it, move it, make it. Who do you think you are? Just to use it.
Mel B is here. I have got to say, I have been excited all day about meeting you. Haven't I?
I'm excited about meeting you too.
Oh, well,
They're all
thank
excited.
you.
That was genuine whooping, that was.
I love it.
We have to force them or drug them sometimes to make them do that, but they did it genuinely for you. So, are you well?
I'm very well, thank you.
You're looking great. Yes. That's
Good hair and
fab.
makeup today. Good lighting going on. Yeah.
Listen, we look forward to talking to you shortly. First, though, with the country facing the worst recession since the Second World War, redundancies and repossessions are on the rise.
Faced with the prospect of losing their homes, some people are resorting to tactics made famous a generation ago.
1970s Britain, a time of strikes, blackouts and rampant unemployment. It also heralded the heyday of the squatter, people taking up residence in empty properties without the permission of its owner. The 90s saw the then Home Secretary Michael Howard hit back with anti-squatting legislation, but it wasn't enough to bring an end to the practice.
It seems the squatter is making a comeback. You still get those who do it out of protest or principle, but there's a worrying number who feel they simply can't afford to do anything else.
Stuart Nisbet has been a squatter in various parts of London for the past 20 years.
I've squatted up and down the length of this city from, very small flats in Stockwell, basement buildings, lofts, and it was a choice based on financial necessity. I couldn't afford to rent a flat, and so I squatted.
In recession-hit Britain, a surprising form of squatting has emerged. With the threat of repossession, homeowners like Terry Armstrong have taken the unusual step of squatting in their own homes.
We built this cottage 30 years ago, but it's now called a squat. And I am a squatter. You might think, what a cheek we've got squatting, but actually it's our home.
But today is D-Day for Terry, the moment he is due to be evicted.
If this family is evicted from our home, as I sit here today, we have nowhere to live.
The bailiffs have arrived, and so have the police.
You understand why these gentlemen are here today, don't you? What you need to do, you have to be arrested to prevent a breach of the peace. I'd rather not do that.
Yeah.
No,
I've got nothing else to lose.
Got nothing else to lose. I mean, I
My wife is laying on the floor. I've got nothing else to lose.
Okay, over to the vehicle there, please, for the officer, okay?
Samantha von Deniken knows how Terry feels. She also squatted in her own home following repossession, but the bailiffs brought an end to that. Her former home is now up for sale. A private security firm is resident to ensure she doesn't get into the property again.
My whole life has been completely destroyed. I've spent 3 weeks living in my car. My whole existence is in paper bags, boxes, and in many different houses belonging to lots of friends. But I don't have any regrets about squatting my own home. I've also met many other people who've been repossessed and are fully aware now of the devastating situation in this country with the repossessions.
It's estimated there are around 15,000 squatters in England and Wales. It's illegal to forcibly evict squatters without a court order, leaving any distressed property owner with a battle on their hands.
A lot of people feel very bitter about the fact that you can live for free for 20 years when they're having to pay their rent or their mortgages.
Yeah, I accept that people do feel that there is, an imbalance occurring when they're paying, rates, rents, bills, and squatters get away with everything scot-free, so to speak. But the vast majority, it will be a brief phase in their life before they get themselves straight again. It's necessity. You know, we're dealing with human necessity.
Valerie Kiefer and daughter Cleo are both former squatters.
It was hard in terms of stability, keeping our daughter in the same school, but we were lucky that there was a lot of empty properties around Kensington and Chelsea and Westminster, so we could always manage.
But their new home could be the way of the future. Empty buildings converted into cheap, temporary accommodation, with the owner enjoying the security of knowing their property won't become the target of squatters.
Now I'm officially a tenant. I've got more security and I can progress with my life, because squatting, it's always like you don't know when you're going to move out. As you get older, it's more difficult to live that kind of life.
Short life housing schemes like this are an increasingly popular option for those who can't afford anything else. It suits them and the property's owner.
It's providing they pay the rent, they're responsible tenants and they're part of that community, then people are often very happy for them to stay there.
But initiatives like this are limited. With repossessions set to rise this year by 60%, more desperate homeowners may end up feeling they have no other choice but to squat in what was once their own home.
Do I regret taking a decision to move back in my house as a squatter? No. Prime Minister said extraordinary times calls for extraordinary action. All I did was took his advice. I moved back in. I don't regret it, but I guess I'm going to carry that weight for the rest of my life.